I've got quite the tale to share, and it all began when I discovered my wife was having an affair with another man. The moment I realized she was involved with someone else, I immediately set the wheels in motion for a divorce and started seeing someone new not long after. Unfortunately, what followed was a downward spiral of stalking and, ultimately, her violent attempt to hit us with her car. Hey Reddit, I've been lurking in the shadows here for years, always reading other people's dramatic sagas, but this time it's my turn to tell a personal story that feels almost too wild to be real. I've been wanting to post about this for what seems like ages, but life has been such a chaotic mess that I could hardly find a moment to breathe, let alone sit down and write it all out. Now that the dust has settled, at least enough for me to take a step back, I think sharing it might help someone else avoid the same whirlwind of misery. Let me give you a bit of an introduction. I'm a 36-year-old man who was married to Carolyn, a 35-year-old woman, for 6 years. I genuinely thought it would last forever, or at least until we were old and grey, but it turned out to be a tumultuous time in my life that I'll never recover. In the early stages, nothing about our marriage seemed unbearable, at least that's the lie I kept feeding myself. We met over Instagram, and I seriously believed I had hit the ultimate jackpot. She was drop-dead gorgeous, had a sharp sense of humor, and came across as flawless. Because my childhood was the farthest thing from peaceful, my mom was horrifically abusive to my dad, screaming at him at ungodly hours, throwing dishes around, and leaving my dad to tolerate it all. I was hyper-vigilant when I started dating Carolyn. I spent 2 entire years dissecting every detail of who she was, how she interacted with servers at restaurants, how she acted under pressure, how she dealt with money, literally every single thing you can imagine checking before taking the huge leap into marriage. By all accounts, she passed with top marks. She was patient, compassionate, and generous, the polar opposite of the person my mother had been. It felt like I'd done my due diligence. I thought I'd thoroughly screened her and found a genuinely wonderful partner. I even recall telling my best friend that I'd ended the vicious cycle of abuse that ran in my family. Looking back, it's almost painful how wrong I was, but I'll get to that. The ceremony was beautiful. We threw a lovely wedding, bought ourselves a cozy house out in the suburbs, and embarked on what I assumed would be our fairy tale ending. Little did I know I was stepping right into a completely different nightmare from the one I had grown up with. After roughly 2 years, things began to unravel, and I don't mean minor disagreements, I mean a full-scale deterioration. We went from being the couple everyone else envied to erupting into colossal fights every month like clockwork. These meltdowns weren't even over significant issues, they were about stuff like dishes left in the sink, me putting in overtime at my job, her vanishing with her friends all the time, or even petty things like what TV show we should binge. I was basically wearing myself thin